this couldn't be any worse for Nintendo right now. It really couldn't. I mean, this is really bad. Um, so let's just get right into it, y'all. I mean, let me share my screen. You can see that this is coming by way of IGN. It says Nintendo delays Switch 2 pre-order date in the US to assess impact of Trump's tariffs. And you can see right here it says, will the price go up? This is literally, hot off the press. Started at April 4th, which is today, at 10:54 a.m., y'all. So this is literally hot off the press about like an hour ago. And you can see here it says Nintendo has taken the unprecedented decision to delay Switch 2 pre-orders in the US, blaming the impact of Trump's tariffs and evolving market conditions. Pre-orders were set to go live in the US on April 9th. Nintendo did not share an updated kickoff date, but did promise that the June 5th, 2025 release date of the Switch 2 itself remains intact. Okay, so that's at least good to know, right? Nintendo issued IGN the following statement. Pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will not start April 9th, 2025 in order to assess the potential impact of the tariffs and evolving market conditions. Nintendo will update timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. Now, this is really bad, y'all, because obviously when Nintendo released their direct about maybe 2 days ago, it was already a situation where a lot of people were hyped, and then obviously so many people were excited because they've been waiting about like 8 years for this thing, right? And you got to understand that at that time, there was a lot of people that were excited, but on the flip side, many people were actually disappointed because of the price tag. Because of the price tag, a lot of people were just like, "Ain't no way are we paying $449 for a Nintendo Switch console." Which I made another video. I'm not necessarily with the majority of the people out there concerning the price because I actually think that it was well priced, right? I'll give you a perfect example. You can see Nintendo has confirmed the pre-order delay is specific to the US. In the UK, for example, Nintendo's pre-order delays remains unchanged. So, oh wow. So those of us in the US, I mean, they pretty much stick the huge middle finger up to us, right? Nintendo announced the Switch 2 at $449.99 with a Mario Kart World Bundle priced at $499.99, right? Mario Kart World itself is priced at $79.99. Now, again, I'm not the majority when it comes to this because I'm of the mindset, if I have to be quite honest to you, I'm of the mindset that this was fair. And it's fair from what standpoint? For one, they given 4K 60, which, those of us who've been, fiending for the Nintendo Switch 2 to come out, we've been begging Nintendo to do this for years, right? We need 4K 60. They finally gave us 4K 60 when it's docked. And when it's not docked, apparently they're giving us 120 frames refresh rate, variable refresh rate, right? Which is extremely good, y'all. I've seen some other people like Marcus Brownlee, reviewing the tech, and he was saying how the screen looks very good. Definitely an upgrade from the Nintendo Switch, right? And then now you also take into consideration that they got, a bunch of exclusives, like the what's it called? The exclusive from FromSoft. That's a huge deal. We're not even considering the fact that the PlayStation and Xbox Series is still priced around like $500 for the base model, and then the PS4 is $700. So I mean, this is still coming $50 cheaper. Granted, obviously it's delayed and the price may go up. Okay, fine. I'm of the mindset that with these tariffs, and don't quote me here, but let's say it's an additional $50. Let's just suppose that the base console becomes $500, and then bundled with the Mario Kart, it becomes 550. I still think that's a good deal. Because think about it from this standpoint, right? With a Sony, with Sony, right? We already know that, what is it? You can only play at your house, right? Now, granted, I have a PlayStation 5 and I actually like it a lot, but you can only play at your house. This is a system, Nintendo Switch 2 is a system where you can literally play it whenever you like. Whenever you like, y'all. Like, this is the kind of thing that just like I think we asking for too much sometimes. Like, you can bring it everywhere you want to go, no issues, no problems, right? And then it's just sometimes I'm actually hoping for out of any of this. But like I said, I think it's actually quite reasonable. You get what I'm saying? You know, and again, do I agree with the $80 price tag for Mario Kart? No, I don't agree. I don't. However, let's look at it from this standpoint, right, you guys? Mario Kart is really $50 if you get it with the bundle. So just buy the bundle, you guys. It seemed like that's exactly what Nintendo was looking for anyway. They're just like, man, because every console takes a hit. Every console, when they selling their console, they take a hit, you guys, and they make their money on the games. So they probably more than likely really wanted to sell the console for $500 anyway. And they probably knew that, okay, based on our previous audience and, it's family friendly and all this stuff, they probably knew that people would like the price. And that's why it was kind of scummy of Nintendo. They didn't even add it in the actual direct, right? Like, people had to search up the actual price online. But it's neither here nor there. You guys, I'm predicting that it's going to be probably $500 for the base model and $550 with the Mario Kart World bundled in. I don't think that's the end of the world. I don't think that's going to kill anybody. You guys, just do what you got to do. You get what I'm saying? And the problem is, at the end of the day, if you're truly against it, then you guys, you know what you have to do. All you have to do is vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet, but nobody wants to do that, right? You got to get the game day one. Okay, so then that's on you. That's on you, guys. But me personally, it kind of sucks. And then, I don't want to be um, too in depth with the news here, but there's also the aspect of like the tariffs itself, right? Many people are blaming Trump for the higher prices and things of that sort. But I mean, the tariffs is a necessary thing, in my humble opinion. If you listen to what he's saying, is a lot of these illegal immigrants are bringing in fentanyl and a bunch of other drugs into the country. And the only way to stop it is not anything that's being imported. He's going to have to put a tax or the tariffs on it. It's really not that big of a deal. I actually think it's smart if you really want to protect our country, right? But let's actually go back because there's some other stuff I would like to actually show you guys here from the IGN report. Um, Nintendo's statement issued today raises the prospect that it could hike the price of the Switch 2 and its games further amid what is already an angry backlash to its next-gen pricing strategy. Speaking in a video on their YouTube channel, former Nintendo of America PR managers Kit Ellis and Krista Yang criticized Nintendo for the way it revealed the $449.99 price of the Switch 2. Yeah, I do think that was kind of scummy. And the $79.99 price of Mario Kart World. Now, this is something I would like to address too, right? Because I was reading a Reddit post, and they put things in perspective for me, right? Where they said that if you think about it, buying 10 games is literally almost going to cost you $1,000. And when you put it in that perspective, I'm not going to lie, that did sound kind of crazy to me. I'm not going to lie. Because think about it, y'all. It's $80. But plus tax, we're talking about almost 90, if not 90. That's extremely egregious, y'all. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too hype about the $80 price tag. But on the flip side, apparently I heard that there's different SKUs because, for example, I heard that Cyberpunk 2077 Apparently, that's gonna only be sold for I think about 60. Donkey Kong, we hear that it's only gonna be sold at 69.99. So for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but I guess Nintendo's looking at it like, okay, you know what? For our major AAA titles, if you want to consider Mario Kart World AAA, but I'm assuming the likes of like Zelda and those things, right, or the next big Mario 3D World, whatever it's gonna be. I think those are gonna probably be priced on the higher end, and everything else will probably be priced moderately cheap or what we expect. Um, Either way, it's still going to be a lot of money, and I guess that's just what we're looking at. Um, I don't want to blow things out of proportion, but this does feel like a true crisis moment for Nintendo, Ellis said, right? And then this is the part that I'm gonna end off on, where it says U.S. markets tumbled today after China hit back against Donald Trump's raft of tariffs. China, which faces a 54% import tax, has retaliated with an additional 34% tax on U.S. goods from the next week. So, you know, that's the thing that I really wanted to emphasize, because I think what's really bad about this is that if we end up going into a tariff war, where people are playing tick for tack, I say people, but I'm talking about these countries, right? They playing tit for tat, I don't think that's going to be good for the market at all. That's going to be extremely bad. And I pray that's not the case, right? If so, we're going to be looking at a very dim um, season of time. But with that being said, again, I think if these companies actually listen to what Trump is saying and actually understanding that he's trying to stop the influx of um, the fentanyl and all these other illegal drugs, what he's really asking for is not really that crazy when you come to think about it, right? But who am I, right? I'm not no politician. I'm saying? These countries don't listen to me. We're just the average consumer, right? So, you guys, again, I would say the smartest thing to do is vote with your money. If you really think that this is just egregious, it's too much, then you guys, you need to prioritize. Don't spend money on the Nintendo Switch. But if you buy it at that higher price tag, this is the potential downfall. Even if the tariffs were to be taken off, Nintendo might very well say, well, hey, people were buying it at the higher price tag anyway, so why should we drop it, right? And that's what happened with Mario Kart 8. That's what happened with The Legend of Zelda. Nintendo, they don't drop the prices of their games because people just keep buying it. So I'm not all for necessarily boycotting Nintendo, and especially in a situation like this, it's not like it's their fault. They really just trying to assess the tariffs. But on the flip side, I'm not one to just jump on the bandwagon so fast if it really doesn't benefit you. You don't have to rush to buy these games, y'all. But I would love to hear what y'all think about this whole situation. Um, are you guys um, are planning on buying the Nintendo Switch 2 at launch? Are you planning on buying it at even a higher price tag? Or do you think that you're going to finally vote with your wallet and you're probably going to just wait until the price goes down? Let me know. Anyway, with that being said, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, do all that YouTube stuff. And with that being said, Nick over and out. Game hard, y'all.